Hello, hello, people. Let me know if you can hear me, if you can see me well. I see you. Hi, not. Oh, you can hear me? Yes. Okay. Thank you so much, Vancouver, Oklahoma, Arkansas. Oh my gosh, so many people we have in here. I'm so honored, and thank you so much for joining this webinar because seriously, I think that this topic is just super essential. And I did go to on stage to several conferences with this topic, and it was highly, highly welcomed by the artists. Hi from Texas. Hi from Miami. Oh my gosh. I'm so happy that we have so many artists that are literally interested in improving and growing and getting their skills better. We will wait a few minutes to have more people joining us because this live stream is not going to be saved, so you're not going to receive a copy to replay it. So I highly urge you to stay with us till the very end. As well, please be active, ask your questions, make screenshots, post in social media. I will be really grateful to have your feedback because I did my best to put all the knowledge I have for you to make it more structured and to help you as much as I can. So feel free to ask questions. It's possible that, like live streams, that we will be catching up a little bit slowly, but I really hope that there will not be any issues with the internet and we will be able to cover the whole presentation and answer all your questions. We don't have a limited time here, but I will try not to take it too long because I understand that everybody has their families and their life of work. So I will try to be very structured. The thing that, just a second. Okay, I will put the comments so I could see everyone. I have a very interesting and exclusive offer for all of you today who joined. I will tell about it very soon. I just want more people to join us, and let's give a few more minutes or seconds to be able for more artists, because we had a lot of registered, and I really want to give this opportunity to everybody to learn because it's an essential topic. So at the moment, let me introduce myself, and you please, when you join, just send a comment. Where are you from joining us? How is the weather in Cancun? It was raining today. It was like really storming, and I was super nervous because internet connection is not really good here, and I was really nervous that there might be issues, but let's pray. No issues so far because you need this information that I will share with you today. So my name is Oksana Vroda. I'm permanent makeup artist since 2018. I moved to Mexico in 2019 with the two little kids and with my husband from Ukraine, without knowing language, without basically nothing, knowing anybody here. The only thing I was confident about that I will be able to work, because permanent makeup is the literally blessed profession. We can work anywhere we go. And it actually happened. I had my third baby on the go in a month after we moved here. And basically in a month after I had my third baby, I started to work. I already had people waiting and messaging me because as we moved here, I introduced myself to the community. So I'm really happy, and I literally urge everyone to improve your skills because permanent makeup has unlimited opportunities to grow. In 2022, I decided to step out of my comfort zone, and I went to participate in Wool Up Mexico, which completely changed my career in the future because surprisingly for myself and unexpectedly, I won in two categories, and I was able to represent the country on the World Finals in Turkey, where I met people from all over the world, the best PMU artists, champions in their countries, as well as the world PMU experts I've been following for years on Instagram. It was a very, very big boost for me because, first of all, I started to believe in myself. I started to be probably enough for myself when I see my works. And because before it was like, it's not good enough. We are so easy to compare ourselves to somebody else that we see in Instagram, which are highly edited and retouched works. And we think that, oh, well, we're not good enough. That's not true, guys. Never think like that. But for me, it was like difficult to like literally believe in myself. So Wool Up helped me in that. And after that, I became more confident. I started to give courses. I went to compete next year again to the world's full face category, and I won it. I won the second place. And literally, I became noticeable in the world of PMU. People started inviting me to their conferences as a speaker. I started the project PMU Champion Bootcamp, which was the platform with the classes for PMU artists to motivate and help them get prepared to the PMU competitions. I can start my presentation. So I already introduced myself, and today we are going to talk about how to work with mature skin in permanent makeup. Unfortunately, this topic is not covered on the fundamental courses, and I'm actually getting a little bit mad because even level up courses don't always explain, and some trainers don't even touch it, how to work with this category of clients, how to work with this type of skin, which is actually very hard to work with. And believe me, I've done a lot of mistakes that we will be talking about today. And I'm also human, and I had to learn through going through those mistakes. So I really hope that we will cover them today, and I will share my experience how to avoid these mistakes. So you don't go my path, you avoid it. Okay, let's go. So let me show you first the short video, exactly what and how bad some works could be for mature skin. Okay, let me start it.
Have me live. Disrespect me. Yeah, check it. Yeah, I told the judge I ain't coming back. Catch me if I got good. I got a chopper sitting under my trap hooks. You never catch me slipping. I never get rocked by a chicken. I know you ain't niggas want my position. I came from the same ghetto you living with no plot to piss it. So believe me, I'm no damn different. Listen, understand I'm a man with a vision.
Like advertisements of their work pictures, so they don't even consider it to be bad. Okay. Can you hear me now? Okay, I got a message that you didn't hear me well. So most of these pictures were found on internet, and some of them were found on Instagram as an advertisement in some profiles of artists. Well, not this one. This one is like sincerely bad. But unfortunately, this can happen to any permanent makeup artist because we simply don't know how to work with this kind of skin. So let's cover 10 most common mistakes when working with mature skin. The first one that drives me crazy is when the artists are using trendy shapes and techniques on the mature clients. What exactly am I talking about? So let's look at this young lady, and she has this beautiful trendy shape of eyebrows, which show a pretty nice gradient. Personally, I don't like this type and this shape, but it's in trend now, and I know that many clients, younger ladies, request it. But because this shape is being highly talked about in the permanent makeup industry, a lot of master classes are based on this exactly shape because it's trendy now, and you can show the beautiful gradient this wide, right? But let's see how it looks on the mature lady. It's ridiculous, isn't it? It's like absolutely doesn't make her look better or younger. It doesn't fit her face. It doesn't frame her eyes. And this is the regular shape, and permanent makeup for mature clients that I've done personally to fit this lady's face. Which one do you think looks better? The trendy one or the real one that fits the face and the frame shape of each client? Okay, this video I will show now. Actually, the works are not that bad, but again, it's about the trendy shapes that don't fit the client's face, the mature client's face. Let me, yeah, the video started all over. So we have this lady, and these are the eyebrows. They do look her face more heavy. Same thing here. I'm not saying that we have to make it like super thin or like this little like thread looking eyebrows, but the heavy bottom and wide eyebrows, and they look ridiculous on such faces because their faces are already, the skin is saggy. And yes, it's way too much. It makes it super wide for this tiny mature skin and little face. So please don't do that mistake. Okay, let's go forward. So my recommendations when you are creating the shape on the mature client's face, I recommend to do soft and shaded lines. Please don't follow this trendy, heavy bottom line on the eyebrows. Try to make it more powdery. Try to follow the natural shape of each exactly client that comes. Normally, they have little hairs, and those hairs show us what was the natural shape. But even if there are no hairs, we still have the shape of the bones. We still can make the shape that will look organic for each exactly client. And I will also talk about it a little later, how to create the shape. My recommendation is to make 0.5, 0.7 centimeters width for the eyebrow head. And of course, it's getting like thinner. Don't go more than that. Don't make it like 1 centimeter. Don't try to show this powdery gradient. This is not the case where we can go like a little bit more wider to show every pixel. This is not the case. They need the soft, shaded, and easy eyebrows, okay? So my recommendation and what I normally do, I do more or less 3 passes. The first pass, I do parallel. So I'm basically fixing the sketch that I do. This pass is very easy and fast. I'm just fixing the sketch and scratching the skin for the numbing. I'm not using pre-numbing for a long time, and basically for any area, even eyes, and I will tell you later why. The second pass, I shaded out diagonal to the top to make it a little bit more airy on the top, to make it powdery. Like, don't try to make this marker straight eyebrows. When you do this crosses, because the third pass is on a different direction. So basically, we make it like powdery on the edges and more intense in the middle of the eyebrows. And this will be absolutely enough. When it heals, it's not gonna look wide on the client. It will look absolutely natural. And then when we are doing the beginning, the head of the eyebrow, it's also very important to make it as soft as possible. Actually try to make the first session super, super easy and natural. Like, stop before you think it's enough, because you know, right, that the pigment is also getting oxidized, and like in 2 hours, it will look more intense. So first, when we are working, we might think that it's not enough and we need to add. So when you still think that, that's the point, stop it, okay? It's enough. And then we always have a touch-up session. It's always easier to add than to remove or have it oversaturated. Besides, these clients, they have a very slow metabolism. Their skin is not rejuvenated as fast and as intense as in the younger ladies, younger skin. That's why most likely 70, 80, sometimes even 90% of the pigment that we insert in the mature skin will stay there. So be very careful. And let me know, like, did you notice that very often, especially if you work properly, your client come back for the touch-up and there is nothing literally to add because it heals almost the same. Like, I have 90% saturation on the healed eyebrows now, and my clients, they are super happy how natural they look, and they just come back in a year or year and a half, which is also good for us to have the circulations of clients, not to make it once and then bye-bye, they are never back and they are hating you for 10 years because those blue eyebrows, they are never fading. Okay, let's move forward. If you guys have questions, feel free to send in the comments. I hope I'm not gonna miss any. So these are some of the examples of works with my clients where I was trying to keep the shape natural. These are the pictures right after the work, so they do fade a little bit. Every time is different, but I try to stay as natural as possible on the first session, and then if they need it, it's easy to add, like I said. Okay, mistake number 2. Going too deep, creating stains with the pigment inside the skin, and making like a very long tails of the eyebrow. Tell me, have you had these kind of situations? And you probably did not this bad. I'm sure you didn't have it that bad, I hope. But this is life and it can happen. And sometimes we don't have enough experience to realize we don't have enough knowledge, or we took not a really good course where it wasn't mentioned. But the thing is, what pigments I'm using. I didn't mention about what pigments I'm using. I have it further on in my presentation. It will be one of the points that will help you also have better works. So to avoid this mistake, first of all, why do we have this mistake happening? Because the skin on the tails here is much softer and much thinner. And probably you have noticed when you were working with mature skin that over here, it's basically like paper. It's like super loose and super, super thin. Sometimes they like even have it like these bones. They're like, you can touch it like that easily and it can create a bruise. So this area must be like super gently done. And unfortunately, very often on the courses, I have heard about it as well. And sometimes even on the conferences, we've been told that over here, these parts should be the darkest when we work. So we have to saturate it more because we have the light falling down from the top and these parts are kind of not getting enough. The color doesn't show that much. So we need to make them more saturated and like easier from the head. So don't do that, especially with the mature skin, because there was also one of my mistakes before, and my clients were coming back with the ends a little bit too deep, and some stains were, or like they were, would be like more saturated than the heads, because the skin is more thick on the heads of the eyebrows. So my advice, how to avoid it: be super gently when working on these areas. Then please, just a second, don't be shy to turn your client's head basically to make the parallel surface when you work. Because if you, sometimes it's not comfortable for us to turn the clients, they are like older and it's like not, they can't put their head properly. You are the one who is doing the job, so you have to do and put the client down as much comfortable for you as possible. If it will be the wrong angle and your hand positioning will be in the wrong way and the needle will not enter the skin in the 90-degree angle, most likely you will create these bluish stains because you will go too deep there and the skin is super thin there. Another thing, when stretching, try to move the skin a little bit of the elbow bone that we have here, because very often their skin is too fragile, and just by hitting with the needle can cause already like a deeper and like bluish, or it can even be bruising. That's a really good point. Yes, I'm sharing with you my personal experiences as well. So so try to keep the angle and make it to make sure that you stretch it properly. Another thing, don't overstretch the skin on the ends here. It's already super thin. We don't need to stretch it like a balloon, you know. We need to make the surface straight. Good reminder. We need to make the surface straight. So when we work, there were no wrinkles and we had the flat surface for the needle to enter the skin. That's all we need. We don't need to extremely stretch it. Okay. So these are my advices. Another thing, correct equipment. It's super important when you work with mature skin. You have to use certain equipment settings. So for the needles, I prefer to use magnums, needles in the bundles like round shaders, and medium taper needles. There are brands that are representing this type of configurations in the needles. Make sure that you pay more attention to it. Just try it and you will see how different it is. Why I don't recommend to use extra sharp needles when working with mature skin, because it's already super thin. And believe me, even if you think that you can control the depth and you fix your hand in the proper way, the mature skin is so unpredictable. It goes like this, so it can be like harder, and then it's like super thin and soft, because collagen and because the cells, it's not even anymore. It's loose, it's stretchy. That's why even when we think we control everything, we can go too deep. And it's much less chances to go too deep when you're working with the magnums or bundles needles, because we have a more resistance to the skin than when we are using the one needle, which actually is just like super easy to fall in the skin too deep. Okay. Another thing, check your machine stroke settings. Because when you're working with, like, we all know that there are short stroke machines, there are hybrids, and there are long stroke machines. It's very individual and it depends on your hands. Some artists have very soft hands and basically they use long stroke machines, which are more the 4 to 2 artists are used. Permanent makeup is, we don't need to go that deep in the skin. We need to be softer. We don't need to go so hard, because what's the difference between the short stroke and long stroke machine? It's the length of each stroke. So there is like eccentric, which is creating like these strokes, and the bigger, the more millimeters eccentric is, the harder it pushes. Because, so okay, for example, we have a short stroke, it goes like this, and we have a long stroke, we go like this. So the needle can make a harder hit in the skin, which in the mature skin case can create, again, going too deep for the needle, making bruising, going these deep stains when we have these bluish spots on the eyebrows, or the same on all areas, because the heat was too heavy. And again, of course we can control it, but I highly recommend to use machines with the strokes no more than 3.0. These are mostly used for permanent makeup. They don't give you that much swelling because, again, the heat is not that strong to the skin. So my personal recommendation when working with mature skin, try to use machines with the 2.5, 2.7 is perfect, 3.0, no more to that. Okay. If any questions, feel free to message. Now, like, let's summarize. when working with the eyebrows, we need to do light movements, pendulum strokes. I hope you all know what's the pendulum stroke is. Basically when the needle goes like a pendulum. Yeah, and we're just moving. In such case, we don't have the sharp entrance and sharp exit of the needle from the skin, which is super important when working with mature, fragile skin, because in such case, all these blocks that we shade will be extremely visible, especially when it heals. Keep the 90-degree angle is super important, because whenever the angle is different, we have more chances to go too deep or create this deepening stain. And a lot of practice. A lot of practice, and this is normal. We all have to practice a lot. So yeah, here we can see the example of eyebrows before practice, and then when we daily practice, we have an absolutely different result. Can you hear me well? Because it looks like you can hear me. Guys, can you hear me? Or when the video is on, you don't hear me? Okay, thank you. Let's keep going. So again, here are the examples of some shady, we hear you. Okay, thank you. Shaded eyebrows, you can see how smooth and beautiful. The thing is with the mature skin also, and mature skin clients, their hair's structure is different. Their hairs can grow like in patches, which makes our work a little bit more difficult. But the thing is that our point, we have to explain to our clients, and sometimes I have requests like that. Yeah, but I have my hair here, and in between it's like lighter. We cannot make the permanent makeup shading to the color of her hairs. Her hairs will still be different, because actually every hair is different, especially with the mature ladies. One is gray, another one is dark, another one is wild like this, and it's super thick and dark. So we just need to add this shade under the hairs to create a visual shape of the eyebrows that will frame her face. And if she wants to add a little bit of color, go ahead and add pencil. Now you have this, shape, and it's easy, and they're not going to be like uneven. Like we know many elderly ladies, they don't see well. And even if you see well, not everybody can create out of nothing very nice and symmetrical eyebrows, right? You have to go to certain courses to do that, right? And that's what we do. That's our job. So we just create this base for them. We don't try to make them as dark as her hairs, because in fact they will heal blue. Okay, some more examples of, you can see that most of them, they have a very soft and powdery contour. There is not like a straight line. Now, mistake number 3, very saturated and bluish eyebrows. So the main reason why we have bluish eyebrows when they heal, like it looks so good, it looks so warm. Like for example, this first picture, the lady, the eyebrows are pretty brown, but guess what? They will heal blue. Why? Because first of all, when we oversaturate the skin, the pigment gets so tight in the skin, and what it does, it just goes down. It goes down because it's too much of pigment particles in the skin area, and it has nowhere to go, so it just falls down. And what we see, in fact, when the pigment is too deep in the skin, and we see it through the skin filters, and most of the mature ladies' skin is cold because it's already thin, and they have all these blood vessels on top, so it gives this bluish effect. And again, the deeper the pigment goes in the skin, the more bluish healed result will be. So we have to be careful and avoid this oversaturation. Try to stop when you think that you would make another pass, okay? And my recommendation, I personally use Etalon mixed pigments. I love to use hybrids, but you have to know how to work with hybrids. If your hand is super soft and easy, use hybrids. If your hand, and some ladies have like, not ladies, artists have like a harder hand, and they also use this long straw machine, don't use hybrids. Use minerals in such case, and practice to do more airy and softer saturation, because this will heal bluish even if you will put a ton of terracotta or really red brown pigment in it. So the more saturated, the more bluish effect we get. So watch this thing. I don't recommend to use organic pigments because most likely their particles are smaller than minerals. Okay, so what's the mineral and what's organic pigment? It's a difference. I'm not going to talk about pigmentology right now because it will take much longer. So the hybrid pigment is basically the combination of mineral, inorganic, and organic pigment particles. Organic pigment particles are super small and tiny. And if you, for example, take the glass of water and you put a drop of organic pigment there, it will just dissolve like this and will make a beautiful color, in the water bottle or glass. if you put a drop of mineral pigment, inorganic pigment in that glass of water, it will just fall down because it's heavier, it's bigger. So again, more chances to go too deep, more chances that the pigment will fall down more with organic pigments. That's why I recommend to stay on the hybrids or mineral lines. Use warmer brown tones. Never use dark or black pigment on the eyebrows because it has too much carbon black, and of course it will also heal bluish just like a tattoo. So try to explain your clients. Sometimes they don't they don't understand how these things work, so it's our responsibility to explain them why we cannot go darker, because there are, I know they ask sometimes, they don't see well and they want to see their eyebrows being blind, so we have to explain them that it's not going to look nice, that it will look as a tattoo. I have a small tattoo here and I always show them, like, look, do you see how bluish it is? Because it's a tattoo. And if I use black pigment or dark brown pigment on your eyebrows, saturated so it was like a very nice and beautiful line, it will heal just like a tattoo. Do you want to have this on your face? 99% will say no. 1% you can just say, okay, I'm sorry, but I can't make it. Or you can do it and then deal with her calling and messaging you that it's not the way that she wanted, because our expectations are different. Okay, let's go forward. The pigment application, just like I said, has to be very soft and superficial, and 90-degree angle is the major rule when working with mature skin, and not only when working in permanent makeup. Here are more works of my clients. Actually, these eyebrows are all healed. So these are all healed works. Maybe if like we look like this, they are not perfect in some spots, but they are soft, they are shady, they are enough for this lady. And in case they want to make them brighter, they always can do it with some pencil. Okay. And mistake number 4, design asymmetry. So talking about mature clients, of course, we are talking about saggy skin. We're talking about uneven face features, which with aging, do you do hair stroke on mature skin? I don't do hair stroke. I actually don't do hair stroke at all. I just learned how to do it. But I think that's, well, properly done should work good. But if you just go, there are like too many chances to go too deep. That's what I want to say. And too many chances for this stroke to blur in the skin because the skin is loose and it doesn't hold the pigment like in this beautiful line as we do it. Symmetry is very challenging with older ladies. Yes, because they already have this aging asymmetry, which we all do, and this is a normal thing. The face muscles don't work in the proper way anymore. Even the young ladies have asymmetry, right? But with the aging, we can see it even more. So we have to be very careful here as well. Like, for example, this case was my client that had her facelift done, and look what they've done. They created this like absolutely crazy asymmetry to her eyebrows. So like one side was like all the way further on, and we had to saturate a little bit more. And actually she had her hairs. So it was a very challenging work, but very nice outcome. She was crying, me too, because I could feel myself better than the plastic surgeon, because I kind of fixed the problem that he caused to this lady. And she was very happy with the work. So in this case, we just have to be super careful not to highlight that asymmetry. So when working with like mopping the eyebrows for mature ladies, I normally do mopping when they are laying down, just because for my hand it's easier to hold it and I see the whole picture right in front of me. I always ask them to sit up after, and we just correct a few things. And sometimes I have to correct at all because like it's like too different when they sit up. It's also okay, but probably in 95% of these cases, it's just a little correction to make it look more symmetrical. So we all probably learned and know the magic rules, how to create the shape of the eyebrows, how to check the levels. I personally never use, not anymore, I did before, but I urge my students and highly recommend to PMU artists, try to make your certain routine of building the sketch of the eyebrows, and don't use any rulers or calipers or anything else. When you're done, if you want to double check yourself, you can do so, because all of these tools, they actually can confuse you even more. The person already has asymmetry, and if we make 2 eyebrows absolutely identical, it will actually highlight this asymmetry, and they will look in the mirror and they will say that something is weird. It's not my face, of course, because the distance from the eyeball, on one eye is different and the other eye is also different. because the eyes are on different levels, and we made exactly the same. Do you do hair stroke on mature skin? Why do we have the comments on the screen now? Admin, please fix it, because I already responded on this comment. Okay. So because the eyes are on different level, and we made absolutely equal eyebrows, and it will basically make it look weird. It will make look like the face is weird, the distance is different. So we have to consider these points when building the sketch. Let me show you how I usually do the brow mapping. And okay, so I always disinfect the eyebrows first, and then I am using flat brush and white paste, which, yes, it does look freaky, but I explain my clients. I do beautiful shape when they come on the consultation to give them an idea how shady the eyebrows will look when they heal. But when before the session we do mapping, I use white paste to see this shape exactly according to all the levels and how it fits the face. And they agree that, okay, yes, it's okay. It looks weird, but I can see the symmetry and everything. So not to make the ends go too down or make them too long, I always check it with the line that goes from the edge of the nose to the edge outer corner of the eye and to the top here. Don't try to make it all the way here so the corners are so going too down. It will pull the eyes down even more, which we don't want. We want it lifted a little bit. And I also trying to keep the ends a little bit higher than the heads, like the bottom line. We see that here, well, the camera is a little bit on the side, but we can tell that she also had a pretty much asymmetry just because her hairs on the left brow on the screen that we see, they were going more down, and there were fewer of them. So visually, that eyebrow was lower than the right one. So we can fix it. We can just add a little bit more saturation to that side, and it will be super easily fixed, right? Yeah, when I do this, I ask the client to sit up to check how it looks, and sometimes I correct it, like I said. Actually, I'm using flat brush and white paste for lips as well, which helps me perfectly see the edge of this connection, but we will talk about lips later. We're slowly moving there. Okay, and here you go, talking about lips. So very often I see these mistakes, and I kind of understand because clients often ask about it, because they put the lipstick a little bit over the contour, the natural contour of their lips, and it looks fine. Yes, but you have to explain them, because they don't understand the process of permanent makeup. They are zero. We are the profis, right? So we have to explain them. Look, when you put the pencil or when you put your lipstick, it goes over the pores, on top of the pores of your lips. So it kind of covers it, and you don't see the pores. When we do permanent makeup, we go inside the skin. So the pigment will heal differently on the pores, almost always. Yes, because they don't understand how it works. So the pigment heals differently on the pores and on the lips area. If you agree that it will be different, we can do it, but I don't recommend. Sometimes we still need to go a little bit over the contour, again, with the mature skin, especially because their muscles around the lips are super weak, and it creates a huge asymmetry. So very often we have mature clients with they say they want lip tattoo because they don't want filler. Yes. So this is our responsibility to explain them why tattoo does not work as a filler, why we cannot make the lip augmentation through permanent makeup means. So sometimes we have to go over the contour a little bit, because mature lips, they are uneven, and very often they are like this. One side is drooping down, this side is upper, but it also has this kind of a contour line up and down. So when creating a sketch, I'm trying to put them together, but at the same time keep them on the lip skin as much as possible. So we do that, but at sometimes where it's necessary, we can go over. And when in overall, where it's in some spots, it's not going to be that visible, like for example on this picture. So you can actually make a screenshot of this, and it will be a very strong argument to your client to show them hey, do you want to heal like that? Okay, I can do that, even though I don't recommend you do that, because then she will say that you didn't warn her. But still, when you show this, they say, oh, okay, no, I don't want it. And then you can also show her a picture of a removal as well, because now they are very smart. They know that it can be removed. So you can show them how laser removal works on the lips. Okay, yes, it looks super ugly, but this is like a huge mistake. Like we see how much the artist went over the basically lips skin, but clients ask about it and they don't understand. So this is my client, and she had a pretty difficult lip contour. She had done like multiple surgeries and probably hyaluronic, and she had the veneers, so like a lot of manipulations that actually made her look like this when she came over, and we decided that we will do the lip blushing with her.
To watch this full webinar, join PMU Space community. Is all you need in one place. Is a friendly community for permanent makeup artists where they grow, share, and rise together.